welcome to Power Up with NSA North Texas, a show about finding, hearing, and maximizing valuable insights from some of the world's leading business and lifestyle speakers. Each week, international keynote speaker and National Speakers Association North Texas chapter president Betty Coffey sits down with some of the most exciting speakers this side of the globe to hear from these subject matter experts what's making a difference in business today and learn all there is to know about people, profits, and productivity in business from some of the world's best motivators. This is Power Up with NSA North Texas. And now, here's your host, Betty Coffey.
Hi, I'm your host, Betty Coffey, president of NSA North Texas, and I want to welcome you to our NSA North Texas show. The NSA National Speakers Association is the premier organization for professional speakers. Our members reach audiences as thought leaders, consultants, coaches, trainers, educators, humorists, motivators, and we do it every day. This show is going to give you the opportunity to hear some of the cutting-edge topics, some of the issues, and some of the messages that organizations are finding very, very important in their organizations and meetings and moving forward today. And you're going to hear about the results and the ideas that can come from that from our own subject matter experts, our members at NSA North Texas. I'm so glad today to have Julie Alexander as our guest. Julie is a speaker, author, consultant, and coach. She creates dynamic and productive workplaces and moves people from just being okay to all the way to awesome. For more than 20 years, Julie's been at this. She has served clients from a variety of industries, including healthcare, education, manufacturing, technology, energy, legal, and financial services. Her company, Great Teams, Great Results, is located here in the Dallas area. Julie believes that great people create great teams and great teams create great results. It all kind of comes together. She is passionate about helping people learn their skills and cultivate attitudes necessary to achieve happier, healthier lives and successful business outcomes. Our topic today is creating a positive and productive culture. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Betty. It's my pleasure to be here. I always love visiting with you.
Okay, Miss Julie. So tell me, you've got a fantastic topic here, creating a positive and productive culture. What caused you to be interested in this topic?
Well, I have to admit, Betty, that it was actually a very personal reason, something that led me to do this. I'd been speaking and training and consulting for a number of years. But the thing that really caused me to focus on workplace morale and making a positive culture came from my husband. He was in a job that he absolutely hated. And the reason was not about the job, not about the work, but because of the culture. It was negative, it was backbiting, political, gossipy, and it all originated with the leader of the organization. And every day he would come home from work, and in my little cheerful way, I'd say, well, how was your day? And he would say, awful. And it was affecting every aspect of our lives. It was affecting his health, mentally and physically. I could see that he wasn't being a very good employee because he was calling in sick at every opportunity. Really? And so it made me really realize the impact that workplace environment has on the home. And of course, vice versa. You know, we tend to pack up our problems from work and bring them home, and then we pack up our problems from home and take them to work.
That's true.
And so it just became a passion for me to help people have a positive work environment.
It makes all the difference in the world. We spend more and more time at the workplace now.
Oh, absolutely, we do.
And I've often talked to people, I say, you know, we spend so much time at the workplace. You got to be in a good environment. You got to be doing something you love to do to be productive and to be successful.
Absolutely.
And it's very, very hard. If you're not happy and it's got a lousy morale going on, it's very, very hard to be productive.
And the interesting thing, too, and I hear this from some of my corporate clients, is that they say, well, you know, what really matters is they just get the job done. You know, that's all we care about, just getting the job done. But what they have to be convinced of sometimes is the fact that the workplace morale affects the bottom line of the organization.
Right.
And it's that really gets their attention.
Right, right. And it's something that can be changed.
Oh, absolutely it can.
Right.
Absolutely it can.
So let's expand on that a little bit. Why is workplace morale so important? What difference does it really make, and does it take a long time to make the change?
To answer your second question first, the answer is yes. Yes. Unfortunately, it doesn't
Not
happen.
a quick fix.
Unfortunately, it doesn't happen overnight. And to answer your first question, what difference does it make? You help me out on this, okay? When morale is low, where is productivity?
Low.
When morale is low, where is absenteeism?
High.
When morale is low, where is turnover?
Oh, high.
When morale is low, where is stress?
High.
When morale is low, where is customer service?
Oh, low.
Low. Because people are not willing to serve others if they don't feel they're being served themselves. And so
That's right.
consequently, when you add all these circumstances together, it does indeed affect the bottom line and also just the general job satisfaction that people bring to the workplace.
That's right. I love that. I love that analysis. Did I get all my questions right? I think I got all my
You
questions
did
right.
really well. Thank you. Yes, yes. A+ for you.
Thank you. But that's so true.
It is.
That's
yeah.
so true. It affects everything, and then it affects your health and
Oh,
your
absolutely.
mental being and the way you think. And we're entering into a new year here, so it's like we gotta think positively. We gotta go after 2019.
And so much of everything that we do, it really comes from our thoughts and our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And when I work with my coaching clients, that's one of the things that we really work on, is to help people understand that how they think, what they're thinking, affects their feelings, and their feelings drive their actions, and their actions drive the results.
And we're not that good at actors or actresses,
We're
are
not
we?
very good at that.
It
no.
shows. It
oh,
shows.
it shows. It shows. And we try to hide it, but
Yeah.
it leaks out.
I love it when there's an analogy out there that when the husband comes back from work and the wife and they meet towards the end of the day when she might be working too or whatever. How was your day? Well, what's wrong? Well, what's wrong? Well, did I do something wrong? And it creates all these issues and problems, and it was just started with, a
How was
lousy
your
morale
day?
at work. Yeah, how was your day?
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't you talking to me?
Why aren't you talking to me?
So-
because I don't want to talk to anyone.
That's right. That's right. But they
Yeah.
want, all that miscommunication. So let me ask you a question, because leaders are saying, okay, maybe our morale in our organization, we're trying to hit numbers, we're trying to be productive, we got to be profitable, we have all these challenges ahead of us, which every organization has out there.
Everyone.
And they're saying, okay, I'm willing to listen. What is it? What do people want?
Oh, people, most people would say that people want more money. Well, yeah, we all want more money. We'd like to have that. But I think that what people really want is to feel valued, to feel that their work matters, that they matter, that they are an important part of what's going on in the organization, that they contribute, and they want to just feel a part of it. And very often there's isolation in the workplace, and so much of it, Betty, boils down to communication. In workplaces, we see a lot of hot tempers and cold shoulders.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah,
Yes.
people will either explode in their communication or they shut down and don't talk. And both of those, the extreme 180s of that,
Right.
Neither one makes for a very pleasant work environment.
That's so true. It's a good way of putting it. I never really thought about it that
Yeah.
way, but that's true. So when you talk about the workplace being a safe place, what do you mean by that?
Well, obviously, it's not that you have a comfortable chair and you
Right.
don't have boxes or wires to trip over.
Right.
For what we talk about in having a safe place to work is a place where people feel that they can be themselves, that they can express their opinions without retribution,
Very important.
that once again, that their ideas matter, that they are heard, that they will not be thrown under the bus in a meeting, they won't be ridiculed or embarrassed in front of their peers. And it's a place where they can absolutely be themselves, within reason, of course,
Right.
but so that they can be creative and work and accomplish the mission of the organization as well as their personal goals.
I love that. And that's so important for our younger employees today moving into the workforce. They want to feel connected.
Absolutely,
they want
do,
to feel
sure.
that their ideas are important, that their suggestions are actually heard, and that people are listening. And they've got a shorter time span in the workforce. They won't stick around if they're not getting it.
That's true.
They're going to move on.
And when you stop and think about it too, though, Betty, the truth is we all want to feel that we are heard, that someone is really listening and paying attention to
Makes
us,
all the
and that we
difference.
matter.
That's right.
And we know if we're being listened to, don't we?
That's right. And you know what? The bottom line is that it doesn't cost a company anything. It doesn't cost the leadership team anything to actually listen and appreciate what's being said.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so what do you see as the biggest issue today in the workplace?
I think it's communication or the lack thereof.
Right.
We live in an era right now where there are more methods of communication than there have ever been. I mean, when you stop and think about it, you can list all the different ways. And so there are more ways of communication, but it seems that there is less understanding.
Oh, that's so true.
More ways to communicate, but less understanding. And we want to depend on our electronic devices, on our email and our texting. And yet, the very best way to communicate is just that old-fashioned eyeball-to-eyeball or voice-to-voice kind of communication, because then you really get the real message.
Do you think it's gotten worse?
Oh, goodness,
in
yes.
2019?
Yes, and yet I'm seeing some reversals in that.
Are you?
I am.
That's encouraging.
Well, it is. In fact, one of my clients has recently asked for a program for me to come in and do some training, particularly for their younger employees, about just how to have a conversation. And you think, wow, that's unique. And yet, conversation is the beginning point.
That's true. And it's not going to change, is it?
No, it's not.
No, it's not going to change.
Not anytime soon.
When I have listened to you speak, you've talked about the 3 different levels of communication. What are those?
Well, the first one is what I call small talk. And small talk is big talk. The reason I say that is that it is through small talk, just our getting to know each other. That's the basic foundation of moving to the next level. And the next level is the deeper, more personal kinds of communication, where I really get to know what you're thinking and what you care about, what's important to you. And then the third level of communication is the one that most of us dread, and that is the difficult conversation. We all have to have them. We've had them. Some of them, most of them have not gone well because we don't know how to prepare for them, and we often go in a high state of emotion.
Cold turkey.
And just, I'm going to talk to him and get it done. And generally the results of that are not good. And so we teach a method of, really a formula of how to have a difficult conversation, and you've got to do your homework before you go into something like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
But you got to start with the first level, which is the comfort level, and just getting that comfort level going, looking in the person's eyes and saying, okay, I'm getting to know Julie better. I'm getting to know Betty better. And then based on that respect level, and I'm sure the authenticity and transparency is built into that.
Right, the
Then
sincerity.
it keeps sincerity, right? And really listening. Then it builds, and then it makes it, you're more adept to those difficult conversations.
There are so many people that are not comfortable with small talk. They will tell you, I hate small talk. I hate having to go to a party or go into a business situation where I don't know people. I don't want to talk to these people. I don't want to talk about things that are insignificant. And yet,
But you got to.
You have to. It's that insignificance, what appears to be insignificant, that opens doors. And so we teach some questions. It really starts with asking questions.
Is it easier for men or for women
Oh, it's probably easier for women.
Absolutely.
You know, you sit down next to a woman in a beauty shop or at the doctor's office or on the airplane, and by the time you're finished,
Oh, you know each
you
other
know
well.
everything. You know all their surgeries.
That's true. That's
and
true.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think women are more adept to that.
Yes.
But I also see men now, as we move towards 2019 and 20, I see them becoming more conversational. They have
Right.
to work at it a little harder, but they are more conversational and better at listening.
Because they realize they're beginning to realize the value. At least the smart.
But we've got to
people-
teach our kids that.
Yeah, we do.
Get off
Yeah.
the electronics.
Yeah.
I hear you. You publish a very interesting monthly newsletter. It's called Great Days E-Tips.
Right.
What's the focus of that publication? I know it's been very successful. Tell me about the focus of that.
Okay. Excuse me. We've been publishing Great Days E-Tips since 2003. So every month it is a short little newsletter, kind of a blog, I guess you would say, that gives people tips and tools and techniques for having more great days both on and off the job. Because that's what we want, isn't
That's right.
it?
That's
you know,
right.
we all want to have great days. And we also realize that when you pile up a bunch of great days, you end up with a great life. And hey, that's what we want. And so that little newsletter has been very successful, very popular. We've got a pretty good open average, I
Good.
think a little bit above the norm.
Good.
And people really enjoy it. And when I speak to an organization or work with an organization, that's the lagniappe, the little serendipity, the little extra thing that we always add on, because that keeps the message that was presented at an event, a conference, or during a corporate education session, it keeps that message going forward, and so it creates momentum.
I love that.
Yeah, so we really enjoy that. In fact, I would love for anyone who is listening or watching this podcast to sign up. We promise not to bug you. We don't.
Doesn't cost anything.
Doesn't cost anything. We're not going to sell your name to anyone, and we promise not to bug you too. We're not going to send you a bazillion emails. We all get enough of
Good.
those as
No
it
kidding.
is. Yeah,
No kidding. I love that. But I've looked at your newsletter, and it's very, very sharp.
Thank
very,
you.
very informational.
Thank you.
And not just informational, but beneficial.
Well, thank you.
It helps
I appreciate
people go
that.
back to that. Yeah.
Thanks.
In one of your recent newsletters, I love this. There was a subject line that says "cheesy wheezy," and I wasn't sure that made me hungry right off the bat. But tell me about cheesy wheezy.
Well, I got the idea of cheesy wheezy from one of my grandchildren. My youngest grandson is Luke, and he is in kindergarten. And Luke and his friend Everett play this game when they're in the car called Cheesy Wheezy. And the way that the game works is that as they're driving down the road or in the back seat of the car, the first person to spot a yellow vehicle yells out Cheesy Wheezy, and that person gets a point. And so this game goes on until they reach their destination or until the adult driving the car says, stop it.
Yeah.
Because there's generally a fight about who said Cheesy Wheezy first. And so the reason that I wanted to write about that is that there's really some scientific evidence behind Cheesy Wheezy. And I'm going to challenge you, Betty, as you go out on the road, start noticing yellow vehicles. They are everywhere.
Do buses count?
Oh,
Taxis?
buses, taxis,
Oh,
any
okay.
kind of vehicle.
Gotcha.
Anything with
Yellow.
wheels, yellow. You watch, and you will be surprised. And this all goes back to the fact that in our brain, we have what's called the reticular activating system, RAS, and that is the thing that kind of filters out stuff that's not important to focus on what is important. For example, the other day, I happened to see a Maserati on the road, and I thought, wow,
Yellow?
cool. No, it was not.
Ah.
I noticed it, though.
Yeah, good girl.
And since that time, I'll bet I have seen a half dozen Maseratis. So what does this have to do with business? What our life? The fact is that we're going to find what we are honestly subconsciously sometimes looking for.
Interesting.
If we believe that someone is negative or they don't like us or they're treating us in a certain way, by golly, we're going to find that in that person.
You're going to look for it. You're not
Well,
going to look at all the
it's
good
going to
parts.
just show up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so it's kind of interesting. And so the point of the Cheesy Wheezy newsletter was be careful what you're focusing on.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because
Because it's going to come true,
it's
or it's
gonna
going to
come-
hurt you
yeah,
in the end. Be
exactly.
careful what you're, or always focus on the positive.
yeah,
Focus on something that's beneficial, that's positive, because you'll see that.
you will see that.
So you
Yeah.
can really affect how
Yeah.
you're going to feel, and that goes into your culture.
Yeah, a quick story. My husband and I were driving down the road. We were in Colorado, driving down a little road, and there was a truck in front of us, a panel truck, that had a list of all of the different services that this company provided. And one of the services was fault finding. And I thought, fault finding? What in the world is that? And so I came home and consulted the great Google.
Yeah, great
And
Google.
discovered that it is looking for faults in the ground,
Oh.
for
Oh,
construction or
okay.
whatever.
Okay.
But then I realized that many of us are fault finders. It is very easy for us to find fault in other people.
It's true.
And it goes back to Cheesy Wheezy, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Yeah, it's so easy to find fault in other people that we tend to be fault finders.
Gosh, so we could just turn that little corner and
Yeah.
say, instead of looking at the faults, I'm going to look at the positives.
Exactly, because
and
there are faults
encourage that.
and there are positives in everyone. I mean, we
right.
all have it.
That's right. I love that. I love that analogy. I'll never look at another yellow vehicle the
No,
same way.
you won't. I challenge you to play Cheesy Wheezy.
Okay, it's a deal. So tell me now, you are a coach, a consultant, a speaker. Tell me how you work with organizations. What methods do you use to help them?
Well, we work in several different areas. First of all, of course, I'm a speaker. Yeah, National Speakers
That's right.
Association, North Texas chapter.
Premier organization.
That's right. And so when people invite me in to speak, I often say this is like a happy meal. Okay? I
Oh,
can come
okay.
in and I can entertain you and give you some information for an hour or 90 minutes. And that's kind of the happy meal. The next level of working with an organization is to really go in and see what's up. And one organization might say, gosh, Julie, we need for you to come in and work with our younger employees about how to have a conversation. All right, so that's more of what I would call corporate education.
Right.
I kind of prefer that to the word training. And so that's a happy meal, maybe with an extra toy in it.
Okay.
And then there's what we call the full meal deal. And the full meal deal is for those organizations that really want to change the culture of their organization. And like you say, it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And so that's when I come in and I become part of the team. And we often start with just interviewing every single person, at least all the key people, and saying, what do you like about your job? What would you like to change? What's working? What do we need to work on? And then what actions do you think we need to take? And then I create a summary statement for the executive, the person who brought me in, certainly not revealing who said what,
Right.
but just to get a general consensus. And that's where we start. And then we go from there and provide whatever kind of corporate education or coaching that organization needs to reach their goals.
I see the benefit of that. I really do. And if you are an organization, you think you can do that yourself, you really can't.
No, you really can't.
You've got to get the candidate. You got to build the respect and the trust of who you speak with. But you're coming from the outside with a fresh perspective, fresh eyes, and knowledgeable in what kind of questions to ask. And you're probably going to, at the end of the day, have a much better results that are going to benefit the company.
And we found that it is more effective, more revealing than the 360 kinds of assessments that some
Right.
organizations do, because it is surprising what people will say to someone, as you say, that they really don't know. And yet I think that I've been blessed with the ability to quickly build rapport and trust, and I tell them everything you say to me is confidential.
Right.
However, I am going to be putting this into a summary report, but we're not going to name names.
Gotcha.
And the boss will not know that Bob said this and Fred said this and
Love that.
Judy said this.
So my last question, I know that you're a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go into an organization, just give me a quick idea, what kind of coaching do you do?
3 different kinds.
Okay.
One is that I do presentation skills coaching. There are a lot of people who are not professional speakers. They don't choose to be professional speakers. But one of my recent clients was trying to sell a huge deal. And so I worked with them to craft the message and how to present that message to their prospective clients. And so there's presentation skills coaching, or an executive has to make a speech in front of his stockholders. I can work with people on that. The second kind of coaching is professional development, helping a person maybe smooth off some of the rough edges. I'm often brought in to say, here's Charlie, he's got a lot of potential. He's a little rough around the edges, or he needs to work on his communication. And then the third level is, I guess, really personal coaching. You might come to me and say, I really don't know what I want in life. I'm kind of struggling with even forming my goals, let alone trying to accomplish them. And so I work with people in order to help them get what they want.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. Okay. So I know that you have some books here. Tell me about your books and how our audience can get a handle as far as, because you've got the interest going. I feel it already. So tell me about your 3 books. You've already told us about your monthly newsletter. Tell us about your 3 books.
Okay. The first book was called Great Days, and it is 50 ways to add energy, enthusiasm, and enjoyment to your life. And you're going to hear a theme throughout this, Betty. The next book is called Make Life Count, and it is also 50 ways to great days. Do you see a pattern developing
I see a pattern
here?
I got it.
And then the third one is More Great Days. And each of these books contains 50 short, quick, easy to read chapters with tips on how to have a great day. This is a great way for people, managers, to start a meeting. There are little quotes at the beginning of each of the chapters. And a funny story, I ran into a woman at a shopping mall not too long ago, and she said, "Oh, Julie, I think about you every day." And I said, "Really? Oh, thank you." And I was feeling pretty proud. And then she said, "I keep your book in my bathroom. And every day I read a little and I think about you."
She's doing so good. What the heck?
Then the other woman who said, "I keep your book beside my bed, and when I can't sleep, I read a little and I drop right off."
Oh.
So
it's all in how you look at it,
it's
Julie.
all in how you look at it.
me.
Yes, and so the books are available through the website, but also if any of the listeners or viewers of the podcast will either send me an email or call me, I'll give you a discount on the cost of the books
You're
and
awesome.
ship it for free.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's a
I
great
know.
deal.
How can you turn down a
There
deal
you
like
go.
that?
So very quickly, how can our audience contact you?
Sure. Well, a couple of ways. There are a lot of ways to contact people. My phone number is 972-240-5717, or you can email me at julie@juliealexander.com, or just go to the website. We'd love to be in touch with any of the listeners or the watchers of this podcast.
And the website is juliealexander.com.
Really
There you go.
easy.
It's
Yeah,
easy.
It's easy.
Okay, so as we're winding up here, what are your last words? What do you want to leave the audience thinking about today? What do you want them to retain?
What I'd like for you to retain is this, that we talk about going from okay to awesome for individuals and for organizations. In order to do that, the thing that we try to drive home is that whether you are an individual or an organization, your success or your failure actually depends on just 2 things: the choices you make and the actions that you take.
Awesome.
That's it.
Choices you make, actions you take.
That's
I
it.
love it.
Yeah.
You've been fantastic today.
Betty,
Thank
this
you.
has been so fun. Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks
and I've
for
learned
inviting
something.
me.
I love
Thanks.
Cheesy Wheezy. I love Happy Meals. I love, yeah, I'm hungry.
We approach things from a very simple standpoint.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
And
Betty.
thank you for being here on our show today. Remember, it's all about powering you up to be better, faster, and stronger. Thank you. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to Power Up with NSA North Texas. To find out more about today's guest or NSA North Texas, visit www.speaker.org. To find out more about Power Up, visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/groups/NSA North Texas. And to find out more about Betty, visit www.bettycoffeepresents.com.